transition. So they've gotten out of college. Because I think most people in college right now are kind of slumbering their way through it. And I can say that teaching across 2 different universities, it's I don't know why we like baby our youth. College has like become like early adult daycare almost.
And I don't think it's their fault either. It seems like academia has done this to itself. That's really the, and then they blame the kids. And then they blame the students for it. It's like, wait, no, you're in control. The kids aren't in control. They don't, there's no provost who's 20. They don't exist. Your dean of whatever it is not 15, and trying to get into school, or 22. These are people who are doing it to themselves. And we're hobbling in academia. We're hobbling ourselves by really pandering to more of a narrative than we are to a need. And so I don't think as much of this babying is due to students or due to what students want. Because when I talk to people who have just graduated, they are hungry, they are ambitious, they are intelligent, but they're looking for a different type of relationship with work. And that's what we should be pandering to. Mm-hmm. That is what we should be targeting and supporting. It's a new relationship to work. It isn't an easier. I mean, I talk to people who are hustle. I mean, all day.
Yeah. I worked like 6, 7
willing
days a
to
week.
Put in the work.
Yeah. I mean, I've worked pretty much nonstop since I got into consulting, because there's just, well, I mean, yeah, I do get, it's funny because I'll get burnt out and I'll just push through, which probably not the greatest thing, but there's so much opportunity right now where it's like, because I mean, and I'm starting to think kind of more at the macro level of what are the trends that are happening. Well, number one, what you just hit on, I think there's massive decay in the higher education space.
Yep.
So, and it's funny because I turned down opportunities from much larger colleges to work at Greensboro College because I'm on their board and I can actually advise. I helped them create a whole minor program over the last 3 years that I'm now teaching. So it's small enough that I'm like nimble and I can start to like roll out programs and then test things that, I mean, a North Carolina run state school is not going to, I don't think they're going to be willing to take risk like that. And also there's all this red tape. But you hit on something that was interesting. Have you heard of Jonathan Haidt? He wrote the book called The Coddling of the American Mind.
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Okay, so he's an NYU professor, and yeah, essentially we're treating our children like they're eggs, like they're made of glass, and I think that it's robbing them of just growth. Like if you are constantly laying on the couch and not working out, you're not going to get strong. Yeah. And we're just so, I don't know. Like you've heard of like safe spaces where they have like bunnies playing on the TV screen and beanbag chairs. The kids get stressed out.
But I look at that. That's not a problem. You know what I mean? Creating a safe space is good. Creating a supportive environment for learning and understanding that people are stressed, have significant amounts of anxiety because they're living a life that our professors don't understand because they didn't live that.
Okay.
There are, none of that's bad. What's bad is when we
I think it's infantilizing,
overextend.
Personally.
Yeah. I think when we overextend that into challenges, and that's, I think, our fault. And I'm a Gen Xer, so I kind of sit in between, and I don't know, I feel like a layer of translation because I get both sides. I get the boomer mentality and I also get the millennial mentality. And like,
wait, what's the millennial mentality?
Well, I get
warned you are talking to a millennial here.
Yeah, no, I get the need for a new relationship with work. That's what I call it. There's a new relationship that we have with work. There's a new relationship we have with each other. And those are, when you look at it from a macro, you zoom out, millennials are redefining their relationship with power. That's what's happening. Millennials are redefining their relationship with power and saying, look, dear politicians, we give you power, not the other way around. You are not in control, we are. And when they look at work, it is very similar. It's a very similar dynamic. Our work is what gives you wealth. We deserve a fair share of that. We deserve to work in more reasonable ways that allow us to have a share not only of the profits, but also a share of life, because we don't work to live. That's not the relationship that millennials have with work. It is a completely redefined relationship with power. And it is saying,
Yeah.
look, there are way more of us than there are of you. We aren't asking for anything crazy. We're just asking for our fair share. And that gets a lot of people scared because it is a completely new understanding of how power is given, how much power is given. And that's why the boomers are so scared of it, because it is so foreign to them
Yeah.
to think about it. But if they look at millennials as their kids, all of a sudden it changes the way they think about it. Like, it should be easier for their kids. That's what we've all been working for, is to give kids a better life than we had. So it should
this
be
is the first
easier.
generation though where that's not the case, at least in America.
Well, I think when you personalize the message, it is. When you get out of the echo chamber, you talk to people one-on-one, and you say, look, this is the next generation of Americans. It should get easier. It shouldn't get harder. That's not the point. The people who fought World War II didn't want your lives to get harder. They didn't want you to have to fight wars too. They fought that war so you wouldn't have to. They built infrastructure so that you could build all the amazing things you have. And you built infrastructure so that millennials could build all the amazing things they have. That's the point of this. We're supposed to be making things easier and better. And people should be working less, not more. We shouldn't be working 60 to 80 hours a week. We're looking for trying to get people to work 20. That's where we should be moving people.
Well, okay.